Welcome to The Explainer. We're skipping the usual preamble today because we've got a lot of ground to cover. FIFA is rolling out some massive new rules for the 2026 World Cup, and the rhythm of the game as we know it is about to change. The ultimate goal behind these new mandates? To make football faster, fairer, and a whole lot harder to cheat. We are going to break down every major rule change today. Some of these are genuinely brilliant, some are already causing intense arguments among managers, and as you'll see, at least one of them clearly isn't about football at all.
So what happens when you mix a ticking clock, an open mouth, and a 3-minute odd break? I know, it sounds like the setup to a really strange joke, but it's actually the blueprint for the 2026 World Cup. These new mandates are going to completely change the flow of the game, bringing dramatic, chaotic, and honestly, heavily commercially driven consequences straight to the pitch. The way we watch and the way the players actually play is about to shift drastically.
Okay, let's dive into this, starting with the rule that is undoubtedly going to get the most players sent off. If a player covers their mouth with their hand, arm, or shirt while confronting an opponent, they get a straight red card. Immediately. No warning, no yellow. Just a straight red. So how do we get here? This stems directly from a Champions League incident where Benfica's Gianluca Prestiani was accused of making discriminatory slurs against Vinicius Jr., all while hiding his mouth from cameras and lip readers. That earned him a 6-game ban, which UEFA then extended worldwide. FIFA ultimately decided the simplest fix for the World Cup was just to ban the act entirely. Cover your mouth near an opponent, and you're gone. The ref doesn't even need to prove what you actually said. Now, what's really interesting here is the harsh trade-off FIFA just made. In theory, the goal is noble and totally necessary, stopping racist slurs. It's an absolutely crucial standard in modern football. If you can't hide your mouth, you can't easily hide your abuse. In practice, however, this blunt rule is absolutely going to catch innocent players doing what they've always done. It'll likely catch at least 5 players per tournament just whispering perfectly innocent tactics to each other so the opposition can't hear. It's a massive risk catching completely normal behavior in this wide net, but it's a trade-off FIFA is clearly willing to make. All right, let's shift gears to the new anti-time wasting rules, starting with a very crucial number, 10. Once a player is called to be substituted, they now have exactly 10 seconds to find the nearest exit off the pitch. That's it, 10 seconds. I mean, anyone who watches football knows exactly what was happening before this rule, right? A player gets subbed off in the 90th minute, suddenly fakes a theatrical injury, needs help from 3 medical staff, waves to every single section of the stadium, shakes hands with the officials, and eventually disappears like 8 minutes later. Well, that stops now. 10 seconds, you walk or you face the consequences. And what are those consequences? That brings us to our next number, 60. This is a brutal punishment. If the subbed-off player fails to leave the pitch within those 10 seconds, the substitute waiting to come on has to wait a full 60 seconds at the next stoppage before they can enter. That means the team is literally forced to play temporarily with 10 men. Just imagine that. 1 full minute of game time in a World Cup knockout match, playing it man down, all because your teammate walked off too slowly. It's no wonder this is the most universally popular rule change for fans, even if the players are going to absolutely hate losing their favorite time-wasting tool. Let's keep that ticking clock anxiety going 5 seconds. If a referee feels a player is taking way too long on a throw-in or a corner kick, a 5-second countdown begins. If that ball is not in play by the time the ref hits 0, possession is immediately switched to the defending team. You can imagine the absolute panic this is going to cause late in a tight, exhaustion-filled match when a player is just desperately trying to catch their breath. And the clock doesn't stop with the outfield players either. Goalkeepers now have a maximum of just 8 seconds to hold the ball. Referees will physically count down the final 5 seconds out loud and with their hands. And if the goalie exceeds that limit, boom, the opposing team gets a corner kick. Now, this sounds incredibly simple on paper, sure, but goalies have been taking their sweet time since the sport was invented. Trying to change a deeply ingrained habit like that in the middle of a high-stakes World Cup knockout match is going to create some incredibly tense, high-pressure moments. FIFA is also trying to tighten up the game behind the scenes with a dense set of new VAR upgrades. The video assistant referee will now automatically check every single decision that results in a corner kick. They'll review situations where a second yellow card leads to a red and examine attacking fouls that happen before play restarts from a set piece. But the most significant upgrade is fixing mistaken identity for yellow and red cards. We've seen it happen in past World Cups. The wrong guy gets punished while the actual offender walks away untouched. And this brilliantly illustrates how a historical problem can now finally be corrected. Next up is a rule born out of pure protest. Walk off the pitch in protest and your team automatically forfeits the match. This mandate wasn't just pulled out of thin air to maintain order. It actually has a direct ripple effect from the Africa Cup of Nations. During the final of that tournament between Senegal and Morocco, Senegal walked off the pitch over a disputed penalty, causing the match to be completely abandoned. Let that sink in for a second. A massive, game-ending rule at the 2026 World Cup now exists because of a walk-off that happened at a completely different tournament. So the crucial point we have to ask is, are all these rules really about the purity of the game? For instance, are mandatory 3-minute hydration breaks just about player welfare? Every single game at this World Cup will feature a mandatory 3-minute break at exactly the 22-minute mark of each half. Every game, regardless of whether it's pouring rain, whether they're in a climate-controlled stadium with a closed roof, or what the outside temperature actually is. Now, FIFA states this is strictly for player welfare in the North American summer heat across the US, Mexico, and Canada. And sure, players absolutely need hydration in hot conditions, no question, but is welfare the whole story here? Well, while welfare is the official stance, critics are pointing to a massive financial motive. As one source lays out, commercial broadcasters have been given the green light to show adverts during these hydration breaks. By inserting these guaranteed, scheduled breaks, FIFA effectively chops continuous football matches into 4 American-style quarters. This creates an unprecedented new inventory of advertising slots for broadcasters during the most-watched sporting event on the planet. So the big debate going into 2026 will definitely be whether these breaks are primarily keeping players cool or primarily serving commercial interests. Now, let's peek at the logistics behind the scenes with a new base camp relocation rule. Guys, this is shaping up to be a logistical nightmare. In every previous World Cup, a team could pick one single base camp and stay securely locked in there for the entire month-long tournament. Not anymore for 2026. Any team that makes it out of the group stage must relocate their base camp to wherever their knockout matches are being played. They'll be forced to travel across 3 countries, across an entire continent. This completely uproots the players' mid-tournament home. It disrupts their preparation environment and the rhythms of having their families nearby, right when the tournament pressure is at its absolute peak. It's such a massive disruption that we are already seeing high-level pushback. England's FA and coach Thomas Tuchel protested this rule directly. In fact, they immediately started exploring using Kansas as a central base simply because geographically it connects all U.S. venues with flights under 4 hours. It perfectly highlights how having host countries stretch a tournament across an entire continent makes the old system so logistically complicated that teams are forced to desperately seek out geographical loopholes just to maintain their focus and limit travel fatigue. We've covered a lot of ground in this explainer, but I want to leave you with this final provocative scenario. Picture it. It's a semifinal match. The tension is absolutely unbearable. A goalie forgets himself for just a moment and holds the ball for exactly 8 seconds. The referee blows the whistle. A corner is awarded to the opposition deep in stoppage time. The crowd absolutely loses its mind. Are you ready for that? Because while FIFA officially designed these landmark changes to make the 2026 World Cup faster and fairer, the real, undeniable result will be unprecedented drama. It is coming. It's really just a matter of when.